Look, as a man, I think you need to have structure. You need to have standards. And me personally, there's certain rules that are unbreakable. Like, these are the ones that I live by. It doesn't matter what's going on, how hard life is, what challenges I'm facing. I can always default back to these 5 rules. These must happen every single time. 1, I always wake up early. This just sets discipline. The reason I did it wasn't to be cool. I've been doing that. You can go back to my videos. I've been doing this for over 5-6 years now. Most of it was out of pure necessity, right? The more I worked, the more challenges and the more workload I added onto my plate, the more time I needed in the day. So by default, the only thing to do was reduce my sleeping time, right? I would cut back from 10 to 9 to 6 to 8 and now I'm down to about 6 hours of sleep. So I have 18 hours of work and also time that I can spend with my family. So that's just pure necessity. But what it also did is inspired discipline, because there's so many days, even 6 years later, that I don't want to wake up early. I really don't, bro. There's days that I'm beat up. There's days that I'm tired. There's days that I have too many problems going on. And the last thing that I want to do is wake up and face them. But guess what? Doing that every day, even though your body's telling you, you know what? Rest. Let your mind breathe. Just inspires discipline. Meaning that no matter how you feel, what's going on, if you're sad, tired, or whatever, the work gets done. 2, you go to the gym. Same thing. See, what I love about weights is that they don't have emotions, right? Iron doesn't care what day it is, what time of the day it is, how sad, tired, exhausted, low energy, low strength. It doesn't care about anything. You can either move the weight or you can't. And that's a gauge on your own mental fortitude, right? If you're used to deadlifting 405 for 5, and that day you can't, that day you were off. Right? The weights stay the same. The weights are the standard, and you're either below or above that standard. You're either meeting the challenge that day or you're falling below it. And that's just a marker for you to let yourself know, like, pick yourself up. We got to get this done, right? That's what I love about the weight room. On top of all the health benefits, right? You look good, you feel good, the confidence on point, you feel strong, which makes you walk more confident and more dominant. All the myriad of benefits, the health benefits, the physical benefits, all that matters. On top of the mental benefits. Lifting weights, non-negotiable. 3, you self-analyze. See, the best competition, I've already told you, we as men, we're competitive. This is, by nature, this is how we're built. And the best competition you have is yourself. So every morning you look in the mirror, what don't you like, right? Where you are financially, where you are with your physique, where you are with your health, with your job, with your work, with your business, with your school, with your sports, right? Look and what is it that you don't like? And now we self-analyze. What can I do to fix it? Right? What can I cut back to add more time into this branch, to add more work into this, to start sculpting that? What ends up happening is when you're constantly looking at your faults and fixing them, not just looking and dwelling, oh my God, I hate this. No, bro, we don't complain around here, right? You look at your faults. What is it that you don't like? And you constantly fix and tweak and build and work. What ends up happening is you become unstoppable. And you build up a version of yourself that you're content with. You consistently build a version of yourself that you like to see in the mirror, that you like what they achieve. And what's interesting is that the more you do it, right? And I've been doing this for years, bro. It's been 10 years. You look back and you just think, especially on days that you might be a little unmotivated, just look back and think, man, like, that's a lot of work we've put in. That's a lot of time we've put in. And it'll make it all worth it. 4, you're constantly learning all the time. See, and this is stuff that I live by. Like, this is stuff, when I'm telling you this stuff, it's because I'm doing it, right? The reading, the going to classes, the going to school, the learning more knowledge. Like, this never stops, right? And for those of you that, because I had that mentality too, right? Like, you think, man, once you're done with college or you're done with high school, I never got to open another book. I never got to do another ounce of work when it comes to literature. No, bro. Like, that was the wrong mentality to have. And it took me, and by the way, I graduated college and I was like, I'm never looking back into this bullcrap again. But I had my business. And surely it was not even 6 months and I was already facing problems where I was like, I got to do some research into this. I got to start reading more. I got to start learning about this. And ever since then, it's become an addiction, right? Where anytime I'm trying to create a new product, I'm trying to build a new solution, most of the time, it's stuff that's outside of my scope. It's outside of my breadth of knowledge. So what happens? I gotta read more books. I gotta start taking online classes. I gotta start learning more from experts because clearly I don't have all the information. And that constant learning process is what keeps you evolving. It also keeps you interesting. And ultimately, number 5, I create, I don't consume. I mean, you see it. All I do is create. I create content. I create solutions. I create products. This is all I do. I create. We as humans, we are creative creatures, right? We are designed to create. What happened is we live in a world of consumption, of high consumption. So what ends up happening, you consume so much TikTok, so much Netflix, so much video games, so much pornography that you are eating up your day with consumption and neglecting your true nature, which is creating. We were built to create things, right? So when you switch that from consumption to creation, and you just become obsessed with creating, bro, the possibilities are endless. Your personal brand, your growth online, you would start building an audience in no time. You would start building a business in no time once you switch off from consuming to creating, meaning that ultimately, these 5 things that I live by every day, these are things that you can implement yourself, that I promise you, they'll change your life.